billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim.
Be surprised how much good comes from just good. In our holy book, God says, what is the reward of good except good? Yes, praise be to God.
Ecco, bisogna spalancare il cuore, rompere tutti gli argini e mettersi in cuore la fratellanza universale. Io vivo per la fratellanza universale.
Imam Dawidi Muhammad was born in 1933 and was the son of Elijah Muhammad, who was the leader of the Nation of Islam. Imam Dawidi Muhammad worked hard to bring different groups of people together and to promote understanding and equality. He also encouraged people to work for justice and fairness in society. He is an important figure in the history of Islam in the U.S., and his teachings are still relevant today. Imam Dawidi Muhammad has many followers to this day. They come together to practice their faith, serve their community, and promote understanding and equality. It's a group that promotes unity and mutual respect among different groups of people, and in the spirit of Islam, they work for the betterment of society. Chiara Lubich was born in 1920. She believed in the power of love and unity to change the world. She and her friends founded a movement in the Catholic Church called Focolare that encourages people to come together in the spirit of the gospel to work towards building a more loving and inclusive society. She was a spiritual leader who inspired many people to live their lives with compassion and love towards all. Her teachings and philosophy still inspire many people around the world today. The Focolare movement is active in over 190 countries, and it promotes unity among people of all cultures, beliefs, and religions. In 1997, Imam Muhammad invited Chiara Lubich to speak at the famous Malcolm Shabbat's Mosque in Harlem, New York. It was a very important meeting between the two leaders where they discussed their shared belief in the importance of working together to promote peace and understanding between people of different cultures and religions. They also talked about ways they and their communities could collaborate on projects and activities to help make the world a better place. That day, that they would, in the name of the one God, would work unceasingly for peace and for unity. Imam Muhammad told Chiara that the pact is made forever, that she is his sister, and that he will help her always. Their relationship continued until they passed in 2008, and today the relationship continues between their communities. Members of these communities consider each other to be family. This relationship is a witness to many people that unity and brotherhood among people of different cultures and beliefs is possible.
Welcome back to Faith Communities together around the Word of Life. I am one of the co-hosts. I'm here with Imam Bilal Hassan, Sister Muslima Muhammad, and our dear brother Gary. And we have a few other next now associates will be on hopefully throughout the show. So how are you all feeling today?
Peace.
Good, alhamdulillah.
Good. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
Good to hear you. Good to see everyone. Good to hear everyone. Good to be seen. And looking forward to the conversation, my beloveds.
Great.
Excellent. So we'll do a what do we call this again? A round reading?
Yeah, round reading.
around relevant. So just share with us some things that's on your mind, or some reflections, or something that you like to share with our listening audience today, and viewers as well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think we're reminded now of what comes to our mind now is the importance of solidifying and reaffirming ourselves based upon our faith and being rooted into our faith. This is difficult and challenging times as here faced in the world. We're seeing calamities, we're seeing natural calamities, we're seeing man-made calamities. All types of difficulties and challenges are being faced, which is a test of our faith level, where we are in terms of our faith practices and application. And I think it's crucial sometimes to recenter and refocus ourselves, and reroot ourselves. Sometimes, with a plant, you have to take it out of the soil and replant it. Sometimes the soil may not be good, or that environment may not be good for the plant. So you might have to take it out and put it somewhere else. And this is the type of cleansing and types of purification of the soul and of our spiritual life that we need to constantly look at, because we're constantly being challenged. We're constantly being bombarded by things in the world, in terms of the calamities that affect our spiritual level and affect us on all different types of levels and challenge our wellness. We did learn about the 8 types of wellness. I'm gonna let I don't know if Mujahideen wants to share that part in his round reflection, but 8 points of wellness, Dina, help me, is the emotional wellness, physical wellness. What am I missing? Spiritual wellness,
and environmental
wellness. Mm-hmm.
Social wellness. We just got that lesson yesterday, guys. Check out our podcast last night.
We got 6 out of the 8.
Yeah, we got 6. But it was with our sister Dina Corbin, who is a wellness coach, and she was sharing with us the 8 levels of wellness, and I think that's very important. Where right now we actually have to incorporate all 8. And because of the calamities and struggles that we're all going through in our personal lives, but also in the world, that we have to take care of all 8, and we should constantly try to focus on taking care of all 8 as much as possible. So that's my reflection.
Right. Thank you, Bilal.
And I'm tossing it to, am I playing tag? Are we playing tag? So
it sounds like Gary's ready.
And Gary, you ready to present?
I mean, I can say something. It actually fits kind of naturally with yours, Bilal. I mean, it's very painful these days to see what goes on in the world. I mean, the war in the Holy Land, and it's still going on in Ukraine and so many other hotspots, and it's just seeing the amount, the level of suffering really puts our faith to the test. But I think the meaningful thing we can do is, to not waver and to believe in God's love, and that God ultimately is in charge of history, even though we human beings create these kind of terrible crises. But God is still in charge, and so it's for me it's kind of an invitation, I guess, or a demand to choose God as the only good, the only thing that makes sense, and to believe in Him, and be a person of peace in my own environment in the meantime. So that's what's on my mind these days.
Excellent. Thank you, Brother Gary, for sharing. Okay, are we playing tag, or Mujahideen ready to tap in? Sasha, peace. Thank you for joining, and Sister Muslima, if you want to tap in and share a reflection of your week. How's your week been, and anything new on the platter? You know.
I'll tap in. Hi, everyone. This is Sasha, joining from Chicago. And I think, especially this week, I guess this past month, as we, in terms to add to, I know we're doing individual reflections, but to build on others sharing, I think I've been thinking a lot about transitions this past month. When usually we enter October, it's depending on where you live, right? You can visually see the transitions around you in the environment, and it always kind of makes me think about this cycle, the cycle of nature, a cycle of the seasons, God's creation, and with all of the painful, tragic, atrocity and painful situations in the world that were mentioned, that we're living through, not even just starting with more recently with COVID, but there's been a lot before that. I think about transitions, and cycles, and how it still feels like we're in another cycle of but more intense, at least for the time I've been alive, right? It feels more intense now, or maybe it's because I can really hold more of it now as being an adult, being older, who's lived more and seen more, and as scary and others have put it, just really makes me think about when there's transition, and instability, because when you're transitioning, it often feels like, it means change, or it means almost like a test. I always think of like transitions are a test, a small test, so a test of life. And I feel like we're in a test again in society of faith in each other, and faith in our Creator, faith in God, and just feels like a big test. But just like we see in nature, there's God always has a way of restoring and showing himself to us in different ways. And so, like, going back to, sometimes I feel like nature and is where I find most peace. And so, being able to, in the present moment, with a lot that I've been reflecting on, and that could really overwhelm when we think of all that's been, so much that's shifting and changing and transitioning in our world and in society. We have only God and our faith that grounds us, and belief in his ability to restore and give hope, and I think, like I see in nature, like, things feel like we feel loss of things when we enter winter at times, because of life ending or pausing, and then there's always a rebirth in the spring of sorts. And so I guess continuing to live in these moments now of fall and winter, and like almost a similar way in society with the problems and issues that are around us, that we've created as humans, but God testing us to believe in him. So it's very similar to Gary's reflection, but I'm thinking of it more like connecting it to seasons and cycles, and anchoring ourselves in him. I'll tag in Muslima if she would like to round us out, if you have anything.
Thank you. It's just funny because I think, even though they say it's 4 or 5 different people, it's kind of the same. I would say the same idea, but I do believe it's because of an idea of a connection you have with your belief, and that would cause a reflecting moment, especially nowadays. I was thinking because when I was reading the when we get to it though, but when we're in the Word of Life, for this, I was thinking of what you kind of already mentioned, and in the Quran where it says, "Don't say you believe and think you won't be tested." And I think of that a lot of times because sometimes our mind is like one test, and I think we should understand that we would always want to have tests, because to me the end of test is when we pass on. Like, that's our last chance to have a test. And if you didn't do as good on the last test, maybe the next test you'll do better on. Like, a positive thought. But I always think of that when things happen in either personally or in the world. Like Sasha was saying, that's why I said it was funny. She was talking. I was like, oh, is that we're always in tests, depending on our own lives or our own situations. But that test is kind of like first thing you should do to ground yourself is for me to say, that you believe. Like you say, we were talking about saying that remembering God's in charge, and then you kind of build from that. And so when things like that, I think when they're out of control, that it comes to me. I think on that one a lot when things are out of your control, or you don't feel like you have control, or you just feel like like you don't have the answer or just the comfort you need. Like, it's a test, so take a minute, pause, but just remember that we're going to be tested, and not just our beliefs, like mentally, I think physically, spiritually, in all areas of our life. And so I see that, like you mentioned now, I didn't relate to seasons, but I do like that analogy. That we're in a testing right now. We're in a test, and hopefully, God willing, we say inshallah, that we pass this one. And sometimes it may feel like we're not, but as we always say, you're taking a test, do the best you can. I'll pass it to whoever's left. If Mujahideen already shared, then I guess that's it.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna just build off what you just said, because I thought of what Sasha said as well, connecting to nature, and as well as connecting to scripture, which we're going to do in a little bit. And in nature, I have a shirt on. It's a rose, right? And we know that rose has so much symbolism and beauty and love, but it has those thorns on it. And so you have to be careful and cautious to not overindulge in enjoying the beauty, that you don't respect the constitution of its body, right? And so, and as in relation to a test, every good teacher has prepared, the students for the tests. And so God, being the best of teachers, know that we all are equipped, as was said about our faith, tapping into our faith, tapping into revelation, and we'll get through, God willing. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Thank you.
And Bilal normally does this, but I'm gonna do it since he's a little. He might be on glitch mode over there.
Excuse me, I'm not on glitch mode.
Welcome everybody. Let us know where you're watching and listening from in the chat. Give us a shout out. We love to see where you all are hearing the message from around the world.
We definitely want to see the people. We want to hear from the people. So the people tune in, give salams, give peace. We'll shout you out. And we're going to start our reflection period at this time with the reading of the Focolare scripture, Word of Life. If we can cue that up on the screen, is that possible or no? Okay, Kate says greetings from DC. Kate says greetings from DC. I hope you're well, Kate. Kate is not doing too well today, so she will not be able to join us, but she's joining us in the queue. So we pray for Kate a speedy recovery, and we'll see her soon. Okay. So shout out to Kate. Can we get the Focolare Word of Life up in here now? On the screen?
Yeah.
The engineer get the Focolare Word of Life on the screen?
The engineer is sleeping too, man. Yeah, let's get that in there.
Yeah, let's share the screen, man, so we can read. Yes, no problem, Sister Kate.
I got so many tabs open.
That's the problem. Man. We got so many tabs open in life that we forget about the main tab, which is the scripture. That's the tab we need to have open all the time.
Good one.
Main tab, yeah.
Here we go. Can we see that?
Oh, there he is.
I could blow it up some.
Yeah, blow it up some. Yeah. Okay, so who would like to read? Gary, Sasha, would you like to read the word of life, the Focolare?
I can read if you want. Maybe I start and then pass it on to Sasha for
yeah.
the second part.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the word of life, the word from Scripture, comes from Matthew. Gospel of Matthew. Give therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Jesus has entered Jerusalem, and people have acclaimed that he is the son of David. This is a royal title that Matthew's Gospel attributes to the Christ, who has come to announce that the kingdom of God is imminent. In this context, a unique dialogue takes place between Jesus and a group of people who question him. Some are Herodians and others are Pharisees, two groups that held differing views with respect to the power of the Roman emperor. They ask him whether or not he judges it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor and thus force him to take sides for or against Caesar, and therefore create a basis to make possible accusations against him. But Jesus answers with another question about the image stamped on the coinage of the time. Since it is that of Caesar's, he replies, give therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. But what is due to the emperor Caesar, and what is due to God? Jesus recalls the primacy of God, for just as the image of the emperor was stamped on the Roman coins, so the image of God is stamped on every human being. The rabbinic tradition itself affirms that every person is created in the likeness of God, just as Caesar's image was imprinted on coinage. So it is logical that Jesus' statement holds true and gives us the answer to the question that was asked of him. Therefore, it is to God alone that we can give ourselves completely. To him alone we belong, and in him we find freedom and dignity. No human power can claim the same allegiance. If there is anyone who knows God and can help us give him his rightful place, it is Jesus. For him, to love meant doing the Father's will with all his mind, heart, energy, and life. He gave himself entirely to the plan his Father had for him. The Gospel shows us that his focus was always upon the Father. He asks the same of us. To love means to do the will of the Father without half measures, but with our whole being. We are asked to do this wholly and completely because we cannot give God anything less than everything. Sasha, do you want to go on from there?
Yes, I can see her. Give therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Once we are faced with dilemmas or difficult choices that threaten to make us slip into the temptation of finding an easy way out, or often we are faced with dilemmas or difficult choices that threaten to make us slip into the temptation of finding an easy way out. Jesus, too, was tested when faced with two ideological solutions, but for him it was clear. The priority was the coming of the kingdom of God and the primacy of love. The word of life makes us ask if our hearts are won over by fame, making rapid progress in our careers, or other attractions the world has to offer. Do we give things their rightful place with God? Jesus' answer is an invitation for us to a serious and thorough discernment of values and what we place as a priority in our lives. Deep in our consciousness, we can discern a voice that is sometimes overpowered by other voices, but nevertheless, if we fine-tune ourselves to his voice, it would be recognizable. It is the voice that urges us to tirelessly seek ways of creating fraternity, It's the voice that always encourages us to renew this choice, even at the cost of going against the tide of current opinion. This is fundamental if we wish to build the foundations of genuine dialogue with others and try to find together adequate answers to the complexity of life. This does not mean we shirk personal responsibility towards society, but that we offer ourselves in selfless service for the common good. During the time Dietrich Bonhoeffer was imprisoned and eventually executed for civil resistance towards Nazism, he wrote to his fiancée, "I do not mean the faith that flees the world, but the faith that endures in the world and loves and remains faithful to the earth, despite all of the tribulations it brings us. Our marriage must be a yes to God's earth. It must strengthen our courage to work and create something on earth. I fear that Christians who dare to stand with only one foot on earth will only have one foot in heaven too."
Excellent reading. Excellent reading. Excellent reading. Any thoughts?
Well, if you guys want, I can start.
Yeah, please, Gary, start.
I mean, in a way, what I said before belongs here too. You know, I mean, giving to God the things that are God's means that we recognize in every circumstance the presence of God and the love of God, even when things look bleak. So that was something I try to do this month. More concretely, this weekend I had a situation here. I live at the Mariapolis, right, where there is often there are weekend groups, and we had 70 people here this weekend, and it happened that we were totally understaffed to run this, to feed them and you know, clean up after dinner and prepare for breakfast. And I mean, it's a lot of work for 70 people. And I'm not part of the team that is supposed to get involved in this. And I was tempted to just say, you know, to step back and let others handle it. But it seemed to be, you know, giving to God what is God's, to get involved and help out where there was a need. And so, you know, the Friday evening, we spent, it was 10:30 p.m. by the time we got done clearing dinner and preparing the tables for next morning's breakfast. And I mean, I have to say I was mighty tired by then. But I felt it was an opportunity to be of service, to get involved where there was a need, and help love people where they were at. And it was amazing how thankful this group was this morning. You know, it was not only about meals; it was really to see how the two communities, ours here and this visiting community, had grown together into one, and they were very, very touched by the whole experience they lived here. So I think that was one way of giving to God what is God's. Thank you.
Excellent, Gary. Thank you for that reflection. That was right on point. Does anyone else want to give a reflection before we read the Muslim Word of Life?
I'll just jump in with also an experience that I had lived this previous month, that really made me that helped put this Word of Life front and center. Also to help me kind of as a really wonderful reminder from God. So I took a trip, a long overdue trip with my parents It was originally a trip meant for my mother and me to celebrate her retirement. She retired in 2019, and unfortunately, we didn't celebrate her retirement right away in the way she wanted, because she was diagnosed with cancer. And so for that year, she was, we lived through that, but she went into remission. And so we were hoping to go in March 2020 to finally celebrate her retirement and give gratitude. She wanted to go on somewhat of a pilgrimage. So we wanting to go to Europe and to several shrines in Europe, including the shrine in Fatima in Portugal and in Lourdes, France. And so we finally went on the trip, and it was such a blessing. But there was a lot in having to, I have a lot of reflections, but when I think of this word of life of kind of the things that we tend to worry about that at the end of the day are more material. And so I think about how much of the trip was logistics, getting from point A to point B, really caring and wanting for my parents to have the best experience possible. And of course, things don't always go as planned when you travel. And in turn, it can strain the relationship or strain communication, or you have short tempers. And you're trying to, I experienced for some of the trip also to really, just lots of moment to dialogue, to really lean into dialogue, or to be a facilitator of dialogue between my mother and father. But in where we were going to go, why we were doing this or not that, and just at the end of the day, when it was really challenging, I made it really, I could think and be frustrated or feel exhausted physically from a full day of a lot of worldly things, worldly worries that I had for the day or for the next day when it comes to traveling, and you're caring for your aging parents along the way and just wanting to have them be safe, also have a great time, but also, it takes a lot. And I found myself thinking, oh, but this is what's so apparent to me, where I feel God's love carrying all of us, is really this strength in our relationship, and living through lots of cycles and lots of tests, and with the world experiencing a lot of scary, painful violence in those moments, when a lot of erupted in Gaza. And so it really just a lot of reflections in the moment of what is really important, what belongs to God. Look at all of these beautiful experiences that we can have in God's creation, or human creation and design and architecture, ingenuity. Being able to go to Granada, I thought of our group, I thought of our relationship, between our two communities, because in Granada, where the Alhambra Palace lies, and where there has been very much the presence of the Muslim faith and community, followed by the Christian Catholic faith community, and you see that life, and you see what man has created, people had created, and to honor God, but in many ways also painted with with humanity, with the history and the things that surround power and land and all of that. It was all there, and then in real time we were experiencing it again, and seeing and hearing about it on the news again. And then I would think and also see these small day-to-day things with my parents, and at the end of it, it was always this word of life that kind of put everything into perspective, that ultimately everything still belongs to God. So there's truly no need to worry, or to be able to let go and trust in God's plan for all of this. And ultimately, it's our relationships and His presence, and my choice to live intentionally to build relationship in His name and His presence with others is what mattered. And I was so grateful to have that with my parents, but also to have had the overall experience too, just be reminded of him and feel his love. So
Beautiful. 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 Thank you, Sasha, for sharing that beautiful testimony, beautiful reflection. And if at this point, if we can share the Muslim word of life on the screen and read, if the engineer can cue that up, we can read the scripture. You know what I mean? Because I think it ties in. It ties. Oh, there it is. It ties in beautifully. If you can make it a little bigger, Mujahideen, or move us off the screen so I can start reading, and then Muslima or you can tap in here once I at least kick us off. Okay. Muslim word of life. Again, we're the Focolare from the biblical verse is Matthew 22:21. So give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. We have two Quranic verses, two surahs here that basically Mikhail Sahir picked, and then I think give good connection to what our conversation is tonight. It says the first one is Surah 28, chapter 28, verse 60. The material things which ye are given are but the convenience of this life, and the glitter thereof. But that which is with Allah or God is better and more enduring. Will you not then be wise? And then the second verse is Surah 4, which is titled An-Nisa, which is the women, translated to women, which is a powerful surah, a very long chapter of the Quran. Goes into a lot of different topics, but this is ayat 134. It says, if anyone desires a reward in this life, in Allah's gift is the reward both of this life and of the hereafter. For Allah is He that heareth and seeth all things. Imam Mikhail Sahir's commentary starts off with worldly achievements and gains are to be used as tools to help us get to heaven. Allah, highly glorified is He, has made all things in pairs that work as a team, functioning on the principle of complementary opposites in tandem while feeding off of one another. The pair survives and grows as a unit. Nature is full of such perfect balances. Up needs down, in needs out, and males and females need each other. Similarly, there is a balanced working relationship between this life and the afterlife. Our Creator, making human life a balance between two seeming opposites, is actually pairing reciprocating qualities that perpetuate human excellence. We can't get the life in hereafter without experiencing the life we're living here and now. Via this pair, God challenges us to maintain a balance between the earthly things that belong to Caesar and the heavenly things which belong to God. However, as believers, we know that all good things, whether earthly or heavenly, belong to Allah. The bigger picture in these biblical and Quranic scriptures is that our Creator wants us to be humble rulers over His creation as good stewards, caretakers. Simultaneously, He does not want us to be dominated and controlled by Caesar or material things. Another verse in the Quran speaks to this important balance. Allah revealed in chapter 28, verse 77. But seek with the wealth which Allah has bestowed on thee the home of the hereafter, nor forget the portion in this world. But do thou good, as Allah has been good to thee, and seek not occasion for mischief in the land, for Allah loves not those who do mischief. Therefore, pursuing wealth is okay if it's not controlling. Mujahideen, you want to tap in? finish us off. Ooh, or Muslima?
I can. Let me.
Okay.
I'm gonna just switch to my screen though. But so you
Okay.
don't. If you want to scroll up,
Yep.
that's okay.
Yeah, Allah. We're on the line where it's Allah has given.
Okay. Allah has given every individual the inner tools and potential to successfully navigate this material world. Innately, we have the resources to earn our proper home in the hereafter. And I'm sorry because I'm reading off the phone, so bear with me. And earning that begins in Caesar's material domain. So don't hold back from Caesar what is properly his. Our ability to give up unnecessary material things is our proof that such things do not control us, dominate us. Appetite for consuming more than we need is often damaging to our mind, body, and soul. Holding on to and always seeking to satisfy material
She dropped off, right?
Did we lose Muslima? I think we lost Muslima. Muslima, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't hear you. You said satisfy material. You fell out after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. I'll try to do it from my laptop next time. Okay. Okay. Satisfy. Where was that?
Satisfy material appetites.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dominate appetites, consuming more. Satisfy material appetites diverts our attention from the more serious aspirations of pleasing and serving God, thus rendering ourselves unable to properly give ourselves to our Creator. The Quran in chapter 4, verse 134 strongly encourages us to not cheapen our aspirations. Our destiny is far larger than this life. Our flesh is transitioning through. Our destiny is far larger than the taxes we pay unto Caesar. And Allah's gift is the reward.
Oh.
Muslima, we lost her again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we lost you again, Muslima.
I'm not sure why.
You're on the line where it says, in Allah's gift is the reward of both of this life and the hereafter.
Okay. That is an all-encompassing plan, better and more enduring. Whatever we owe to Caesar, the ruling authorities, it is okay to pay Caesar in full because Allah owns Caesar too. In the end, all things, all matters and concerns go back to Allah, the originator of all that exists. For the believer, Caesar and his world is all a test, a trial that allows us to see where our loyalty is. This material world is a struggle, a dignified struggle that builds the inner muscle of our soul, so that we can give to Allah what is properly due. The words of chapter 23, verse 60 of the Quran reign forever true. The material things which ye are given are but the convenience of this life, and the glitter thereof. But that which is Allah with Allah is better and more enduring. Will ye not then be wise?
Ameen. This is the Muslim Word of Life, and I want to make comment in reference to what has been shared from the Focolare reflections that we received from Brother Gary and Sister Sasha, and what we just read from Imam Kel Sahir's commentary on both the biblical and the Quranic texts real text, real revelation, scriptural revelation, scriptural science. There is another connection or biblical and Quranic connection that talks about the Exodus upon Musa, or in Arabic Musa, or Moses in English, or in Latin Moses in English, taking the children of Israel out of bondage and freeing them from the Pharaoh, from the ruling class who was ruling at the time. And when they were out in the desert, they had some words for Moses. They wasn't too happy being out there for this period of time, and they were just they began to complain a little bit. They began to complain. They said, Moses, man, you got us out here in the desert, and we're used to this. We're used to this type of living. Pharaoh, he gives us this type of food and the lentils and all these other types of things. This material, mind you, the material things, right? And this commentary ties into this. And Moses turned around and told them this. He said, if you want those things, the material things, you can go back to Egypt. But if you want the land that's flowing with what God has promised us, flowing with milk and honey, right? The reward, the benefits from God, then you stick with me a little while longer, we'll get there. You understand what I'm saying? But if you want to go back to Egypt, to the comforts of Caesar or the comforts of Pharaoh, you can go back there and enjoy those comforts. But understand these comforts that we all enjoy. Me, all of us here, we all enjoy these comforts. The comforts here of this life is very limited, and is also we're transient. We're transient. What we're going through right now, as Sister Sasha mentioned, the month of fall into winter is the transient times. Things start to change. Leaves, colors start to change, right? It gets darker earlier in this part of the world, right? We're about to lose an hour of daylight, right? So these, and it's also the harvest season too. So there's good things. There's a good transient change that's happening, and things seem to be withering. May seem things to be dying on the surface. Oh, it's dying. The trees are not bearing no fruit, no more leaves, nothing. It looks barren. But there is a sign for us to say, well, we're transient too, like that. We shed things. We shed bad behaviors. We shed we shed things that are not good for us. We're to die to those type of things. We're to die to not physical death I'm referring to. We're to die towards our infatuation with this material earth. So we want money, we want success, we want the glitzy, the clothes and the cars and all of that stuff. That stuff comes and goes. It ain't gonna be buried with you in your grave. When you go back to God, it's not gonna be buried with us. You see what the Egyptians try to do? They try to bury their wealth with. They believe they're burying their wealth with them. They would take that with them in the afterlife. No, God says no. You don't take none of that with you back to the afterlife. None of that goes. The only thing that stays here is, and at least in the Islamic perspective that we like to share with people, is that whatever good that you did in this life, that's counted as what they call a continuous charity. Meaning if you built a school, you built a house of worship, you built something that people after you can benefit from, then that thing that you built, that you funded, that you did something, that will benefit you in the next. You'll get benefit from that. And if you raise believing children, that's another second thing that will benefit you in the afterlife. If you raise beautiful, God-fearing children, and those children pray for you after you physically have left this realm. So this is a very important aspect, that we don't get caught up too much in the material, that we get our share, as the scriptures say, get your share of the material earth, so you can be a means, so you can get to and fro, but also is a means to please God. That whatever that you get, that you're satisfied with what God has given you. Because there's people on this earth that don't have what we have here in America. And there's people in America that don't have what other Americans have. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be grateful, that we have some material possessions, that we have some things, and that we should be willing to give more or give where we can, of our resources to help other people, and may that be of benefit to us in this life and help us gain entrance to the next life.
Thank you, Bilal. That was beautiful.
Excellent. And we're coming up on the top of the hour. We just really scratched the surface. We didn't really get too deep today. I would like to invite our listening audience and viewers, if you would like to join in the conversation. We have about 5 to 10 minutes left. I'm going to put the link here in the chat. All you have to do is click it, take it to your browser, and come join us. Or you could put your commentary in the comments. But as we come to a close, there was a lot said, and it was a good balance in relation to seeing the scripture for our personal selves, for our community involvement, and for what's going on in the world. And so this is a reminder for us as people of faith to prepare us for the tests that we're going to face going forward. To keep the balance between the worldly things, the things that we enjoy, the comforts, and also the accumulation of wealth. We should not be afraid to get our share of the material good. I mean, if someone's going to get it, I would think we would want those who have the benefit, who wants to benefit all, to get it. And so we're working, we're establishing our life as individuals and our careers, our professions. So we should be an asset in that space. Giving charity, volunteering, actually, as Brother Gary just shared, even if it's not your official job, right, to go the extra mile to make the success of the situation. And so these examples in Scripture just reminds me of that.
Yeah, and be like the prophets. We're trying to be like them. We're not prophets and like that, but be like the stories of the prophets. The story of Prophet Muhammad, prayers and blessings be upon him. He was a tradesman. Before he received revelation from God, he was a tradesman, which means he was a worker. He was working. He wasn't waiting to receive revelation. He was working. And he already had a heart that the time of the people that was around him, his heart was pure in the sense that he didn't give in to what the people around him was doing, was worshiping idols and burying their female children underneath the hot desert Sahara sand, doing all types of crazy. That's why his revelation came to him. But Dean's point about getting his share, he was a tradesman, and that's what led him to his first wife. That's what got him his first wife, because she saw Lady Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, may God be pleased with her. She was one of, or the first convert to Al-Islam. She was the first to accept Al-Islam. When she married the Prophet, she asked to marry the Prophet. She did, not he. He didn't ask her to get married. She asked of his family, I want to marry Muhammad. That's what she said. And she was rich. She was a wealthy businesswoman. She had a business, and she was previously married before, and she had children from previous marriages before. But the Prophet was so good as a worker, as a tradesman. He was trusted. The people of his town trusted him. They used to leave him with all their riches, and when they would go across the different parts of the world, they would leave stuff with the Prophet, with Muhammad. So they would say, hey, Muhammad, can you wash this for us? He was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And they washed it for him. This is the life. This is the life, man. And he gave his wealth too. Like Dean said, he gave charity to the community, to the people. That's what I'm saying. So he was also a giving person too. But, make some money, man. Make some money. Nothing wrong with that, man. Just don't be like don't forget your mission, because that's what happened to Jonah. Jonah fell asleep on the boat. He got a little sleepy. He got a little too comfortable. He got a little too comfortable. He said, "Yo, Jonah, you gotta get off this boat, man, because this storm is wrecking our ship." And what happened? What happened? He got swallowed by that big fish. With these, some religious scholars say it's a whale or something, because the biggest fish in the sea is the whale. So he got swallowed up. So this image in the Bible, in the Quran, says it was a big fish. So some say it's a whale. Okay, so the whale, the society swallows him up, and then guess what? In the belly of the whale, in the stomach, he then calls out to God. He said, "Oh man, I forgot my purpose. I forgot my mission, man, to my people." And that's when God told the whale to spit him up out of his spat, and he spat him up and onto the earth that sand, and the tree covered him up. And then eventually he said, "I have a 3-day mission. I have to go back to the people, and I have to deliver this message." So the point is, be balanced. Don't get too sleepy and get caught up in the material, but get your share, definitely, so you can give more. You can build more institutions. We need more schools for our children. We need businesses that keep our dollar circulating. We need all that. You know what I'm saying? But don't forget that your faith is first, and out of your faith level sprouts all of these different aspirations.
Wonderful.
Excellent. So we're coming up over. We just went over the hour, but it's okay. We tried a little.
It says 57 minutes on my screen, man. That means we have 3 minutes.
57 minutes,
and
but
Muslima's unmiked. I don't know. She might have something to say. Please, we have 3 minutes, man.
I was just sharing my chuckles.
Yeah, we got our round reading as we close out. Sure, bless us, Sister Muslima.
No, it's definitely already been said. I would say that's what I got from the Word of Life. Definitely not as vast or eloquently as Brother Bilal said it, but at the same time, just remember that everybody has a part to play, but in the end, God's over all those players. And so, just I think too, when you mentioned Jonah, and I thought about that, and it's in the Quran it talks about when people pray a lot. And they say people pray when the storm is coming on the ship and you're in fear of dying, you'll pray to me. But as soon as I deliver you safely, you forget me.
That's right.
And you don't pray to me anymore. And so I actually, and this is a slight reflect part of it. I got a chance to go to Oregon to see the eclipse. And it was so funny because I was really sad because it was so overcast. We couldn't see anything. And my friend was just being so positive, and I begrudgingly started thinking things to be grateful for, but she was laughing the whole time. And I'm just sitting there, oh yes, I'm happy to be awake or have the money to do this. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, I came to see this eclipse. And I think of it as almost like a reminder and a blessing, because the whole sky was dark. I took pictures of it because, we didn't see anything.
Right.
We drove to the hotel. I had given up by then. And she screamed, and this one spot opened up in the clouds, and you could see the eclipse. And people, other places over, everywhere else, they couldn't see it. Right. And they just saw parts of it. And soon as the eclipse was over, I think it was like 7 minutes. It doesn't last that long. It literally closed back up and went completely back to a overcast sky. And the whole time, all I kept saying is how grateful I am. And that was a little thing, but at the same time, just being alive and grateful. So all those things I was thinking about, I said, I'm glad I said them. But they definitely had a more impact on me for that, because it's like those little moments. We don't see them as gifts that God's giving us, but I think they are. And just being aware of that. And when you do see them, thank God for that and be grateful for that. And it's a material thing, but at the same time, it's something that he gave us to be aware of his might and that he's there. And so just be thankful for those little gifts.
And a shameless plug, when you pay your taxes to Caesar, make sure you give it Muslima, because she's a tax professional.
Hey, that's a good plug, because we all paying taxes to Caesar and
Yeah.
Pharaoh. Yes, I'm saying Uncle Sam or whatever you want to call him. So yes, pay your taxes, please. But these, it is interesting. All of these oppressors, another plug is that on the November, our show will not be airing on the 26th, because that is for those who observe Thanksgiving holiday observance.
That's
It's
right.
Thanksgiving weekend, so we're moving our program up to the weekend before Thanksgiving, to November the 19th, same time, same place,
Okay.
same channel.
But
And
a special, but
it's a
Aki,
special, it's a
it's not just
special.
the same time,
And
same
then
station. It's a
Aki, I
special
didn't finish.
pre. Oh, okay, Aki.
We have a special program. Well, first of all, this next month marks two years of our movement with right 2 years of Next Now, Mujahideen. Since you want to cut me off, 2 years of Next
The
Now.
revamp, yes.
Yeah, revamp. The revamp, 2 years of the revamp, and then we're also going to be doing a special prayer, a special program, special prayer, special program, interfaith program with our beloved brothers from the Jewish faith, brothers and sisters from the Jewish faith, and highlighting we're not getting too political, anything like that, what's going on overseas, but a special prayer, a time of reflection, a time to be together in this space, virtual space at least, and pray and root ourselves back into our faith traditions, our Abrahamic faith traditions, that ground us. So it'll be a very special program. We're going to do this very nicely, very eloquently, very politely, very respectfully, to the circumstances that the world is under right now. But the world needs prayer. We need prayer. We need prayer. We need prayer. And the beauty of this all is that prayer is what binds us together, is what keeps us together. They said a house not established on prayer is has no foundation. It has no foundation. So you want your house to be established on prayer. When you establish prayer first, then the house is in order. So we have to get our house in order, establish prayer. When we establish prayer, that will hopefully, God willing, give us some sense of calmness, some sense of peace, some sense of, I feel good, that God is going to take care of the situation, is going to bring justice to the situation, so bring healing to the situation. It's going to bring all of those good things that He has promised, that He's in the scriptures, because He promises those things. It's a promise, to those who work and do righteous deeds and join together in the what? The mutual teachings of truth, patience, and constancy.
Great. So the 19th, huh? We'll see each other on the 19th.
Yeah. Yes, the 19th.
That's great.
Yeah, that Mujahideen said it's a special program.
All right.
Children, we're still working out the name, but the children of Abraham, we talked about, we're going to share in prayer and song and education.
Yes.
Sacred justice, also some of the things we talked about. So
yes, sacred
we'll
justice.
go around and have everybody give their closing greetings or reflections, and we'll bring the ship to a close before we get thrown into the water.
Well, the last sentence of the
So if we did alphabetically, it'll start with Sasha first.
By what? Last name or first name? You're going off, Mujahideen.
Dubai first. Oh no, then it would be Bilal first.
I'm not going. I said enough.
Gary was about to say something, so I say we start alphabetical order. Last name Gary, you start.
Well, the last sentence of the Quranic word of life was something like, "So will we be smart? Will we be? It was not smart, but something like that. I don't remember.
Wise.
Which one?
Wise.
Oh yeah, will we be wise? Yeah. So that's what I'm taking home. Be wise and continue to give to God what is God's. So that's my final thought.
So
you.
I'll go because I don't have as much to say. I just wanted to clarify. We are going to replace the Word of Life meeting with the program on the 19th, correct? Or are we having two separate programs?
No, sister. We're
gonna just do the special program.
Special program, sister. Special program, sister. Special program, sister.
Just clarification. That's all.
Yeah, special program, sister.
But just in line with what we reviewed tonight with the Word of Life, just I would say definitely remember to be thankful for what the gifts that we have, and even the ones we may not see. Like I said, just little things that we don't think. I think of everything now like it's almost a gift from God sometimes. Like a sunny day, something. I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. So but with that mindfulness, but I do that because they'll say you say constantly reminded lest you forget. So just whatever way you want to or need to remind yourself, just remind yourself of that. Whatever you're doing in this world, it could either help you or maybe cause you a little, bumps as you transition. But just to enjoy the things that are here that God has given us and that they're all His. So regardless of how things may seem or how they may appear, they're still His. God's in control. It's okay. Think of the things that you do to be grateful for, and keep that in mind. I would just say keep that in mind. And whoever wishes to go next.
I'm going to work.
I just got afraid.
Maki? Well, Sasha
Go
was
ahead,
going.
Dean. I think we're going in alphabetical order, so Dean's next.
No, you're good, Sasha. I don't know. I got a lag on my side, but all I was going to say is share something. We have this one of the men groups I'm in New York. It's called. We have this expression called "hold the line." Hold the line, and as people of faith, we have to hold the line. I mean, there are things that are challenging all of us, even people of faith, right? And we just have to hold the line, as Bilal mentioned, that justice, how God wants things will be, it will be. Early on we talked about what's going on in the world, and I thought about the scripture that says, the great and dreadful day, right? And so it's like, just keep pushing forward and do your best.
Great.
I think the reflection I want that I'm leaving or taking away and leaving others with is something that hit most when you were sharing earlier, Imam Bilal, but this idea of prayer as what unites us and grounds us. And if with this month's Word of Life, we are in giving to God what is God's, because God is all, everything that we essentially, what I take from the Word of Life is everything is God. Everything belongs to God. Nothing belongs to me, but I have that to be grateful for because it was created as a gift for me. Right? And so I think when I think of all of us together, including the ability to pray and have that unite us when we are struggling as a society, and then struggling in our own ways, unbeknownst to one another, but we're all human, so we have our own tribulations in our own individual lives, and knowing that, again, prayer unites us, our experiences unite us, and we all unite back to Him, and that's how we give back to God what is God's, I think, through prayer, and knowing that it really brings us all together. Thank you. Closing out. Who's next?
Well, I think that's it, my beloveds. I think that's it. Now we want to wish everyone a blessed rest of their Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon or wherever you are in the world. If it's Monday already, some people it's already Monday already. So blessed start to the week for you guys. Everyone, be safe, be well, and we hope to see everyone here for our special program on November 19th at 7 o'clock here on the Freedom XChange. And we appreciate everyone. We love you all. Do not forget your wellness. Please take care of yourselves. Help all the 8 points of wellness. Take care of yourselves, and stay prayed up. Constantly remind yourself that God is in control of everything, and nothing happens without His knowledge and His will. And we're here because of Him. We're here because of Him. We're living in the design that He has created for us. Okay, and as some people get off that design, and they do things that are unbecoming of a servant to God, and they're gonna be held accountable for that. God is a just God. That's what I want to leave everyone with. God is a just God. Okay, and people who get off that focus, that track, they will have to deal with the consequences. But we are trying to strive to get God's blessings and His mercy, and we have to lead with that. We have to be focused in that, and don't become unfocused, because when we become unfocused, and we're susceptible to make big mistakes and big errors. So please keep God first. Stay prayed up. Stay healthy. Don't forget your wellness, and we will see you all soon, God willing. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Thank you all.
What would you like people to think about you when you've gone?
I'd like for them to say, he took a few cups of love. He took 1 tablespoon of patience, 1 teaspoon of generosity, 1 pint of kindness. He took 1 quart of laughter, 1 pinch of concern, and then he mixed willingness with happiness. He added lots of faith, and he stirred it up well. Then he spread it over a span of a lifetime, and he served it to each and every deserving person he met.
Muhammad Ali, thank you very much.
Legacy, legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy, visit muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy, 999. Legacy, legacy, muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy, visit muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy, 999. Legacy, legacy, muslimjournal.net online.